All right. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm live from my new office for the first time. So I hope you enjoy the new background. We're still obviously decorating over here and getting things settled, but very fresh, bright, lovely energy in here. So I hope you guys are up to having a good time today. I mostly wanted to talk a little bit about kind of the implementation of what we preach, right? Or what I preach anyway. I just finished scheduling a post on Substack. It'll come out in a couple days, and it's called The Medicine is Being Human. And I feel like lately I've been living in this real dichotomy of being a wellness professional, someone who believes in healing others and is always telling people to go for a walk, drink water, take a bath. And yet, I myself have been exhausted lately. And I do practice what I preach. I do take a daily walk. I do yoga daily. I meditate several times a week, not daily, but several times a week. And yet, I've been completely exhausted by the end of the day. And on the weekends, I'm not really wanting to do much except rest. And so I have been really reflecting on why that is and what that means for me personally, which causes me to echo back to you all and share a little bit about what I think is happening, not just to myself, but to all of us. I see it on my feed all the time, my Instagram. All I follow is health accounts and wellness accounts. And, here's the science that being in the sunlight is helpful. Here's the science that being outside is helpful. Here's the science that drinking lots of water is helpful. I think we all know this. When I'm talking to people on a daily basis, no one ever says, no, that's not right, or I don't know, I've never heard of that. Everyone knows what it takes to live a well-lived life, right? A wellness lifestyle. Even like what we're eating. I know I should not eat refined carbs, but yet that is really hard for me. That is my kryptonite, right? So we know what we need to be doing. We know what the science says. We know it. We feel better when we do these things. And yet, I am curious how many of us are actually doing these things and how often are we actually doing these things? Because, again, the dichotomy, we know all this, but we live in a society that goes completely against this. It's very, very counterintuitive to what we know to be true. We're surrounded by screens. We are surrounded by fluorescent lighting. Many of us never see daylight. I remember when I worked for a corporation a few years back, I remember realizing for the first time, oh my gosh, I could literally go all week and not see sunlight because of the nature of the job and the time change at the time, right? It was dark when I went to work. It was dark when I went home. That was very, very creepy to realize because that is really, really bad for your circadian rhythms, your health, all sorts of stuff. So, our society does not really cultivate time in nature or rest, right? We're often, especially in the West here, we're really shamed for rest. And it's a sign of weakness, and it's not something that's encouraged by our work, much less usually our family and friends don't really encourage it either. We're in a go, go, go culture. So that being said, I personally spent a lot of time thinking about this. I teach this. I did a presentation last week, and I struggle with it because I know how I think our society should look, and that's not how our society looks. I know how I want my day-to-day look. I would love to be outside a lot of the day, but I'm not. I have to work. I have to make money, just like you. So I'm curious if anyone else feels discouraged by this, or if anyone else, feels like frustrated because you're trying to do good, you're trying to check those boxes, and yet it is 100% swimming upstream against the flow of everything else, right? Of our lives in modern society. So if you feel this way, please just drop in the chat. I'm just curious, just drop a comment below. Yes, I feel this way. Yes, I struggle with it too. Or maybe, no, I don't ever feel this way. That's fine as well. So if you do feel alone, I do want to say you're not alone, but yes, it can feel like that. But there is a lot of us who are really engaged in a healthy, active, nourishing lifestyle. But it's kind of about finding your community and surrounding yourself with those people who are also doing these things, right? So, what I wanted to do was a quick interactive thing. So, pull up the comments. I know you can like keep listening and then like pull up the comments below because I want you to write your answers. So, I made a quiz, just a short, fun quiz that I sent out to my email list, and I thought it would be fun. I just kind of spurred the moment. That'd be fun to do on here as well. So, just keep your answers in your comment and then send it at the end. I think it would be really fun. So, okay, my first question for you. How would you rate your overall energy levels this past week? So 1 being very low, 5 being neutral, 10 being very high. Okay, so 1 to 10 there. How would you rate your overall energy levels this past week? Okay. Now I want you to say which of the following activities do you engage in weekly. So this is every week, and just maybe type them out. So mindfulness or meditation, either one. Exercise, reading and learning, socializing with friends or family, creative hobbies, spending time in nature outside, getting enough sleep, and healthy eating. So just list the ones that you every single week you're doing, right? Okay, next question. How satisfied are you with your quality of sleep? 1 being not at all, 5 being I always get enough sleep and I feel great. So scale from 1 to 5, how satisfied are you with your quality of sleep? Okay, on a typical day, do you feel like you're drinking enough water? Yes or no? And last question, how often, no, what, 2 more questions. First, how often do you describe your current stress level? Sorry, I just totally botched those 2 questions. How would you describe your current stress level? Low, moderate, high, or very high? Last question, how often each week do you spend more than 10 minutes outside? Is that once a week, twice a week, every single day, or less than once a week? Okay, so feel free to pause me, rewind me, whatever, go back. That is your short quiz. And I would love to see your answers in the comments and let's discuss. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Be well.